Come on. Count me in. Yo, this is Hakim Green, Channel Live and Direct. BDP all day, every day on a special edition of Say That. You know that show, we just clear our mind and we just let it all go. Exactly, we say it directly from the heart. Let you know how we feeling from the core, from the root. So it's only good, it's only right that I'm here in the heart of Newark, New Jersey with my brother, Duitall, Dupree Kelly from Lords of the Underground.
What up, y'all? What's good,
man? I just want to thank you for letting us come up in here.
Man.
211 Media Group, 211 Community Impact, doing big things, and definitely, legendary right here. So today's conversation is who stole the soul? Who stole the mother soul? Now, what I'm talking about, D, is I'm looking at the Grammys, as we all are, most of us, and there was a lack of, African American representation on the winning side of the nominations, right? Well, some people walked away salty, some people walked away not really caring, some people walked away happy. In particular, Macklemore, who walked away with more than a few, right? And some people feel that, Kendrick Lamar, his light was kind of dimmed in that instance. So we're going to get there, y'all. We're going to bring in some other folks, you know what I mean? Got the homie Carl Thomas. Carl, you here?
He ain't there yet, I don't think.
So, we had to reach out to the homie Carl Thomas, who is an R&B legend. And when we think about R&B, we see an opposite of the tanning of America, which is kind of strange. Carl, you there? What's up, brother? What's up, brother? You there? There we go. What up, Carl? The legendary Carl Thomas is in the building. So, Carl.
The volume sounds crazy.
Okay.
Too high, too low.
Too high, too low.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, you should have walked the
We should be able to turn that down. Is that better? Carl. What? Carl, you hear us?
I can barely hear you.
Wow. Do I need to get closer to the microphone? Is that better?
No. When I called before, it was real good. It was really clear.
So you know what? Let's put him on pause. Try to get that worked out, right? And me and Duitall is gonna have this conversation, and we'll bring Carl in when he gets back.
Here, hang up. Let me call you.
All right.
I'll call you back.
So, in terms of R&B, we see kind of a lightening of the genre of R&B. From the Amy Winehouses to, of course, the Justin Timberlake, which is more pop, but he does give you that soul flair with what he does with hip hop. And you have the Robin Thicke of the world, and then you see what black artists are doing, or excuse me, I say the popular black artists are doing. It's like it's night and day. It seems as if they're doing our music and we're doing something else.
Yeah, I do feel like the roles have reversed. When we came in the game in the early 90s, when I came in the game with Lords of the Underground, music, not just R&B and hip-hop, but music was different. You had R&B music, you had rhythm and blues, you had that type of feel, people singing, and it means something to hit a note and be able to hit a note or be able to sing in different ranges and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they said that hip-hop wouldn't last as long, and it's funny how R&B got killed, or it was a double homicide, because hip-hop, all of the talking about something, substance music, for the most part, has been withdrawn from it.
Yeah.
So
we saw like in the 90s, I don't know if it was the influence, right? Of course it was the influence of rap music and hip hop culture, but R&B music became more and more rap oriented, like in terms of the themes, what they're talking about, getting money, getting paper, just the lack of the love theme in R&B music.
Yeah.
When we come to black music, we're not really singing about love. And I don't know if that was a planned occurrence, but when we see artists like, you know, the many artists out there, from the Justin Timberlakes to even the Taylor Swifts, you know, like the music is changing. As America is getting tanner, it seems like entertainment is getting lighter, or is it just a phase we're going through?
Well, look, man, I'm a hip hop dude. We got the legendary Carl Thomas on Skype, man, and he's a singer, so he can probably answer that better than I can. You know.
Well, hey, first I want to say thanks for having me. And secondly, I'd like to say that you know, one thing people have to realize about music is that music is infectious, and it transcends race. Now, we've always, as black people, been able to do exceptional things above and beyond. I do think that it is an organized effort on some part to lower the cookie jar so it's accessible to more people. And you know, when you get things like that, you give away positions like that, it's going to cost you something. I mean, you know, that's just how I feel about it.
Now, when we were working on the with Gerald Busby on your project, your last project, he gave us some information that was a really like a shining light for me. I don't know if you remember an email he sent us that described what happened to independent black-owned music in the 70s, and how companies like
I recall that email.
Yeah, and how
I recall that email. It stuck out.
Independently black-owned companies, Philadelphia International, Stax, the Motowns of the world, even Chess Records, like, you know, white independent as well, own the majority share of the music market collectively, and at the major labels at some point decided to break that up and threw money at the situation, more or less, and waged a sort of economic war against independent movements in the 70s. And out of that, eventually, is where your black music departments at major labels came from. And then the same thing happened in the late 80s with independent music, with the burgeoning of hip-hop. And then the same thing happened again in the 90s.
Same thing happened with baseball.
Pretty much with the Negro League. So I guess we're seeing that happen again, but not just like, we're looking at a cultural trend. For instance, Roz Intelligent put up an article on Facebook where he said he went bowling with his kids, and in the bowling alley they had hip-hop videos on repeat. He said for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, he watched hip-hop videos with no black people in it. So you had a group of people who weren't doing this in the 80s, now have totally mimicked our culture and our style to the point where they don't need us anymore.
I mean, yeah, you're right, though, man. Anytime that, you know, Lords of the Underground, we have been fortunate enough to travel the world continuously and make, you know, do concerts abroad. And for over 20 years. And the crowds that we went out for in the 90s are different than the crowds that we're going to now.
Yeah.
You know, we just came off a tour with Alcoholics and the Cali Agents, and majority of our audience is white.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you can't have any white fans or or just like Carl said.
You just showed us a video earlier of you guys doing a show in Prague.
Yeah, man.
And
shout out to Prague, Czech. Woo! But just like Carl said earlier, music, it breaks down barriers. There's no race. It touches everybody.
Right.
So it's not a race thing. It's just that what we do to our culture, we don't respect it as somebody else respects it. We're so saturated with so much hip hop here in America, so many R&B songs, so many artists coming out every day, every week, that you have your choice to pick from and play with. But over there, when they like something, they stick to it. They buy it, they support it, through the ups, through the downs,
right?
And they learn your ways, they learn how you talk, how you flow, how you sing, what notes you hit. They respect it more than the people who had it before. So it just gets
so I mean, but is there a way to how you say not manipulate, but shape the culture in a way where we have more of an appreciation?
Let's look at it like this, Hawk. Like, this is not new though. This has happened to jazz music. When I go overseas, I see jazz musicians who've been living over there 30, 40 years, play with the Whispers and play with Jimi Hendrix. So it reminds me, when I go out with these 90s artists like Onyx, MOP, Lords of the Underground, when I go out with these people, I feel like we are them how they were then. You know what I mean? So if we were then what they were, then we're going to keep repeating the cycle almost, because we're not protecting our culture. When you go to a jazz concert in Europe, totally white. When you go to a boom bap hip hop concert in Europe,
totally white.
It's about 90%. It's almost there.
So, Carl, would you? I don't know if you agree with what Duitall was saying in terms of the international crowd and their appreciation of our culture versus.
Well, no, I definitely agree with what he's saying, because I've experienced somewhat of the same thing. When they have a knack for hanging on to things that they like. But I gotta say this, fellas. I was sitting one time. I was in actually it was my birthday, and I was hanging out with Stevie Wonder, fun guy, great and everything. And he told me, he said, you can't have longevity if you don't have the ability to see where music is going. And then he went on to say that some people are never going to be anything more than a product of their era, instead of a product of their entire lifetime. And that was something that really resonated with me, because the same thing that I like about the MTV revolution and the Moon Man era, I can turn, and watch videos, and I can pick out, if I listen, I can pick out those same melodies, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're experiencing cultural backlash, right now, but the music is only 7 notes of 7 notes, and that's all music really is. And everything within those 7 of 7s, everything within that, it's just us regurgitating the music. That's all. There isn't an 8th note to music that you can play. It doesn't exist.
No, but
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we could talk about music, but when we talk about marketing and promotions and sales and publicity and imaging and money being put behind certain.
When we talk about marketing and promotion, big business has always gone with the sway of the consumer. So, in my opinion, if we want to point the finger at the first person who stole the soul, it was us.
Elaborate. What do you mean by us?
Stole the soul.
We stole it or we sold
I
it?
can't tell you. I can't begin to tell you how much it hurts me that our community doesn't reverence Luther Vandross. We've forgotten about Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We've forgotten. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand how Willie Wilson in his genre can remain a god.
See, that,
a music god.
and that's what I was trying to get at when I said, is there a way that we can evolve the culture so they have an appreciation for what came before? Like we see other cultures who have that cultural continuity, able to school their young folks. This is real. This is bullshit. All right, you may grow up with this. That's cool. It's a fad. But when you become older, you're going to have an appreciation for the finer things. And the finer things, a lot of times, ends up being our culture from 30 years ago. So
when I was growing up, the grown-ups around me thought that hip hop was an absolute bastardization
right.
of what they grew up on.
Yeah, that's real.
Like we all in the backyard, we listening to classic records. You know what I mean? Rapping Duke, you know, just stuff like that made hip hop fun for show and all of that type of stuff.
Right.
You know, we made, you know, because of that fact, I'm always taking a second look at the stuff that my son is listening to, because I feel responsible to know why he's drawn to it, and I feel responsible to know why it's popular, even if I don't like it or agree with it.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, y'all.
Yeah.
Right.
See, well, is that the thing? Is that broken connection between parents and their children? Is it music programs in the schools? I mean, what is it about our people where we're not appreciating who we are, so we can? Because I really think, you know, I'm not really about blaming Justin Timberlake and Macklemore. We put their pictures on to promote the show, and it's because they symbolize what we're talking
Those
about.
guys are talented.
Yeah, no, those guys are talented. JT is talented, and Macklemore is talented. You know, you can't. And the thing I like about Macklemore is that he gives it up. He understands white skin privilege and white supremacy, and he addresses it in his songs.
Yeah.
And he addresses it. You know what I mean? He vocalizes like, hey, I know that I'm going to get it past a lot of circles because I'm white. However, Macklemore came up as an independent. He didn't come up through the major system. He worked hard to get where he is right now. So
Macklemore did it handshake by handshake.
Yeah,
you want to say something though?
No, I was just thinking, man. I was just gonna say, you know, I think it's all in the programming, man. You know, we're human beings. We're used to being programmed. I think that if you do a test on any major radio station, Power 106 in LA, Hot 97 in New York, if you go to DC and do WGCI, whatever you do, and you know, I think that the record that you play 100 times a day, people are gonna, if they say they don't like it from the first listen, people are gonna start liking the record. If you secretly do this and just play this record, I guarantee you, whoever that artist is, will be popular.
It's called radio programming.
And gentlemen, and you know, you touched on something, Duitall. I'm gonna tell you what you touched on. You know, we're experiencing the outer ripples in the pond of when they started payola.
Yes.
When payola, I believe it was, who was that, Morris Levy?
Hey. Watch out now. But payola's been going on. Payola.
When they started payola, they dropped a big stone in the pond, and we're experiencing the outer ripples of that right now.
Yeah, man.
Because it still exists in other forms. It might not be direct pay for play, but it still exists.
Yeah.
Now, the internet though. I mean, there's the internet. So do they still have that same stranglehold on us that they used to have? And if they do, what's the problem? How come we ain't figured it out yet?
They still have their fist clenched around our neck, but things do slip away, slip past on the internet. the internet is for entertainment to a lot of people. So anything that's entertaining on a mass amount of levels that can bring people toward it. You had the girl with the Friday song, you know what I mean, and over millions and millions of hits. That wasn't on the radio every day, you know what I mean. People were looking at it like, but it was a record that was, you know, a big record. Yeah. So the internet will choose what they like that entertains them. You know, then you have stupid stuff like the hide your wife, hide your kids, and all that type of stuff. So anything, you know what I mean? And then you have real people that are discovered on the internet. So the internet should be used as just that, man, as a tool, as a vehicle. And you just got to figure out where you want it to travel.
It's like the dumbing down of the culture, so to speak, Carl. And I don't know if I don't know how, like, what your take on it is in reference to R&B. The dumbing down of the culture, so to speak, the dumbing down of the art form, and what that does.
Well, I'll tell you what.
All right.
When it comes to R&B was doomed to become something else. Not doomed, but it was destined to become something of a watered down version when they took the motivation away. It took the motivation away. The motivation was, do you remember at your school dances when the slow jams came on?
That's right. You sound like DJ Lord Jazz now.
Remember when they took the slow jam out of the party? That was the pebble that they dropped in R&B, into the pond of R&B. That was the pebble that they dropped there when they took the slow jam out of the club. Now cats don't really have a reason to.
Better than you are, better than she is. You know, we always want more as a human being. So when the young human beings who are being programmed at an early age, because that's what these age levels, they say, we're being programmed. So when you reach a certain level of being programmed by society and it's telling you these guys that are singing this or rapping
This is what success is.
this is what success is,
Yeah.
then that's hot, because that's what success is. In Europe, like in America, let me just give you just an example, because I travel the world and I'm grateful, man, and I'm thankful that the music that I've created has allowed me to travel the world. But what it's done for me is allowed me to experience different experiences as a foreigner.
Yeah. As an outsider, outsider looking in.
Yes. So what I see is that in America, we're about, I'm not saying everybody, but for the most part, we're about cars, we're about materialistic things, we're about fashion, name brands. Overseas, it doesn't matter if you have a fly car or not. A girl will talk to you if she likes you, not if you look like you're balling or not.
Right.
It's different reasons why she might talk to you. She might talk to you because you got a Brooks Brothers suit on, or some shoes that, or just one. You know what I mean? It's different.
It's more the way you carry yourself and your character.
Yes.
Than it is about what you drive in. Or
so now, if you take that scenario, if it's not just about materialistic things, the same mindset is when they listen to music. It's not just about the materialistic things. It's about emotions. It's about feelings. It's about pain. It's about struggle. It's about love. It's about happiness.
yeah.
When you listen to certain music, when you take out the love, when you take out the joy, when you take out the happiness, the choices are slim. And it's not nothing really there to keep you smiling.
Very little.
When you talk about soul and spirit, you don't really, there are negative souls and there are bad souls.
Yeah.
But when you talk about soul and spirit, especially as a black community, or
You're talking uplifting.
You're talking uplifting. You talk about happy. You're talking about music make you feel.
Speaking of happy, I want to give a big shout out to Pharrell Williams for the Happy song.
And that big ass hat he had on, because he had everybody talking about that hat. That big ass hat that everybody blogged about and everybody Instagram. thank Pharrell very much. Pharrell need to thank y'all, actually.
Yeah, and go Google Buffalo Girls by Malcolm McLaren.
Yes, hip-hop.
And you'll understand where he got the hat from.
Yes.
But that song, Happy, I so needed that song. I was saying earlier, like, there's so much hate on the radio right now. Like, motherfuckers don't like each other nowadays. I don't know what's going on, but people just do not like each other. And when I hear that song,
work with Pharrell, man. I would love to work with Pharrell, man.
that song, Happy, every time I hear it, it's like I get happy. It's something that you want to sing along with. And not to say that we all need to be making happy records, but it's so left relative to what's going on that it wins. It's a winner. And I remember when music was like that, especially hip hop. If everybody's going right, I'm going left.
Yeah.
If everybody going left, I'm going right. That's something else that's missing from the game.
If your name was Hakim as an MC, I couldn't call myself Jaheim as an MC because it was too close.
Too close.
If you made a song called Funky Child, I couldn't make a song called Funky Wild.
Nah.
Because it was too close.
You were getting clowned. People was going to say you big.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to hit.
Now I think my man Funky Man, my rap partner, said it in the rhyme. He said biting is now legal.
Oh, it's the style. Biting is the style.
Yeah, it's like biting is legal.
How well you can mimic
for
somebody
biting.
else's rhyme. There's a lot of folks out there who do it. Now, some folks who do it, they get it right and it sound fly and they do it because you give credit the way it came from. It was obvious. Now, we understand. I'm not being that critical. If it's hot, it's hot. But to lean on it like a crutch, and some folks out there lean on biting other people's lines like a crutch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, definitely like I think there's an ethic, there's a like the rules to the game need to come back. I'm not saying that old folks need to determine what it is.
Yeah,
but
no,
young
not at
folks
all.
need to maybe develop their own rules to the game. Something that weeds out the whackness from the realness.
And let me put this disclaimer up there, god daggone it. Don't be thinking that there's two old MCs up here talking about young rappers or none of that. All we saying that is whatever type of genre of music that you do, protect it.
Yeah.
Man. Protect it. And really, really mean what you say and say what you mean when you're creating. And that pure and truth that you're creating from, protect that, man. And so when you pass it down, that they will protect it. And it doesn't get watered down as you go along and as the generation of hip hop grows. Because if it keeps going the way it is and you're not respecting people that came before you or people that's coming up, then it will get taken, like jazz was taken. And then we won't have any part of it. We'll just be in the history like, oh, they was the first and this was the... And then somebody else be able to do what they want with our culture because now they will be the owners of it.
Let me say, what I tell people when they ask me, do I have any advice to give the young people getting in the game? What I tell them is, first and foremost, don't lose the love for the culture. If you're singing, if you're rapping, if you're breaking, if you're playing the drums, whatever you're doing, love the process of what you're doing more than what that is what you think may come back from what you're doing. Yeah. Love the process of what you're doing. So there was a time in the game where I lost the love for what I was doing. I was doing other things, not doing what I was supposed to be doing. And since I got back to writing and rhyming and laying and creating music and laying vocals, like I feel so better in my own skin, not for the appreciation from who I think might have. Yeah, I want people to think my shit is hot. That's why I do it. But if nobody thinks it's hot, I'm still going to continue to create and try to get better because the love is in me just saying a rhyme, spitting it to Do, and Do going, yo, and hearing what Do got. That's hip hop. That's where that love is. That's where that soul is. Don't lose the love for that. I can remember hearing a rapper, a successful rapper, say that if he couldn't make money at it, he wouldn't rap. And that kind of hurt me. It's somebody that, he's, I call him an MC. It's a rapper, and it's like you're pimping the culture. Why we do this or why we started doing this wasn't to make money. We did it because this was the culture. Then we found out we could make money from it. So it's kind of the same thing with what we're doing now. Like, there's no promise of money doing what it is we're doing. It's just doing it because we love to express ourselves and we feel like the people need to maybe get an earshot of the information that we have. That's why we do what we do. It just so happens because of technology, we can make money from this.
Mm-hmm.
When we lose that, when it becomes, yo, I'm not doing this if I can't get no money. I remember saying when I was 25, yo, I'm not gonna be rhyming when I'm 30. And 30 came and I couldn't give it up. I couldn't put it down. Stopped for like 5-6 years and was the worst person for 5 or 6 years. Was not
Stop
the same.
doing what you love.
Stop doing
You
what I
took the
love.
love, took the soul out of yourself.
Took the soul out of myself. Yeah.
Word.
So like, you know, when we say who stole the soul, I think that's a lot to do with it. Like doing it just for the money. What Dave was talking about, doing it for the commercial aspect. As soon as you do that, you've sold the soul. They own your ass now.
Yeah, man. I think me doing music for these many years, man, has given me a certain outlook on not just the entertainment business, but life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the experiences that I've had with music, with people in music, with so many different personalities and so many different levels of success and so many different levels of the entertainment business, from television to TV, the film to music. You know, you meet different people and you understand different levels of the entertainment game, but it's really all of the same. It's really, how can I